Hello, my name is Matthew Perez, and this is my week 4 video in which I'll be analyzing an ethical dilemma. In this presentation, I'll be discussing the ethical dilemma of a vendor giving a government employee tickets to a basketball game for their company suite as a Christmas gift. And I'll be using the problem-solving method and its 3 components to better decide the best outcome for this scenario. So the first part of the problem-solving method is the description part, and it's broken down into 3 different sections. And the first section is discussing the facts. So in this ethical dilemma, the facts are that you have a vendor that's giving a government employee tickets to a basketball game, and that government employee happens to be a purchasing agent. So the stakeholders in this ethical dilemma would be the government agency, the government employee, the vendor that's giving the tickets away, and the vendor's competitors. So the interest of the parties would be for the vendor giving the tickets away would be that they're trying to persuade the purchasing agent to have a better relationship, and so maybe in the future for upcoming bids that there would be some bias towards that vendor. And in regards to the purchasing agent, their interest is to make sure that they act ethically and fair to all vendors. Now let's move to the second part of the problem-solving model, which is the analysis section. And this is broken down into 2 different parts. The first part is the duty and obligation. So let's start with the purchasing agent's duty. It's their duty to make sure they award bids without any preferential treatment or bias towards one vendor. And it's also the purchasing agent's duty to know their role in the government organization and know the consequences of their actions. And it's also the government agency's obligation to make sure they provide their code of ethics to all employees. And it's also the government agency's obligation to make sure that they inform all employees that accepting gifts from outside vendors is strictly prohibited. The second part of the analysis section of the problem-solving model is figuring out which ethical approach to use towards this ethical dilemma. And in regards to the giving the gifts of the basketball tickets, the best approach to use is Aristotle's virtue theory. And here, if you're a good person and you're responsible for the consequences of your actions, then you'll know that receiving those tickets is bad optics, and it will most likely lead you to the path of declining those tickets, which leads me to my second approach, which is the utilitarianism theory. And in here, if you know the consequences of your actions, you'll realize that accepting these tickets may lead to being terminated, and so this will most likely want you to decline those tickets. And the third part of the problem-solving model is making a decision, and here you're trying to find the best alternative. So the best alternative towards this ethical dilemma would be to respectfully decline the tickets and inform the vendor that it's the government agency's policy to not accept gifts from outside agencies. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you all have a good week. And here's my list of references.